Hi guys, it's Lee. I'm back here in case you didn't realize. I'm hiding behind my book because I did something a little bit drastic to my face, and I'm kind of nervous of exposing it because I just did it like 3 hours ago, and then I decided to make this video, so I'm exposing myself to the World Wide Web. Even though technically right now I'm going to pull the book down and expose myself only to the camera, but that's besides the point. Um, but I realize that, writers do things like that. They do drastic things that are out of their comfort zones, and they try new things, and they experiment, which is what I've been doing for a while, and that's the philosophy with how I live my life, to get out of your comfort zone and do things that are not necessarily part of your ordinary life. It might be things that you regret, but it's always, or not even that you regret, it's more that, you tried something new and you're a different or better or more well-rounded person because of your experiences. So not that this is so drastic, but in about 5 seconds I'm going to have to drop the book and expose myself, and I'm just nervous. So here we go. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi guys. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Okay, not as drastic or dramatic as I thought it would be. Okay, welcome back. It's been quite a while since we did a reading video. Part of that was because I was in California visiting my family over the Jewish holidays. Then I got back to New York and I had to get back into the swing of things, into work, into school, which is a whole nother story in itself. And then this week I did something which was really great and definitely out of my comfort zone. I had the honor and the opportunity and the honor to speak at the Creative Soul Art Gallery with 3 other fantastic Hasidic writers. We had an event called a Spotlight of Hasidic Writers, and the Creative Soul Art Gallery is a pop-up art gallery that comes to Crown Heights once a year from the end of September to the beginning of October, and they have the art gallery open all day, every day, and they do really cool artsy events, open mic nights and movie screenings, and then they did this Hasidic Writers event, so I had the honor of sharing my work with a group of people, and it was only the second time that I've read the book in public since it was released. The first time was at my release party back in May, and since then I've been doing the YouTube videos, so I've been reading to all of you who watch, so that's a lot of fun. And it was a really fun event. It really got me out of my comfort zone. It just but it was so much fun, and I can't wait to do another public reading. So I'm working on those. I'm really excited about that. So now that I've talked your ear off for like 5 minutes, we're going to do a little bit of reading. So if you remember from the last time that we read, we were on chapter 5. We did the first half of chapter 5, so we were introduced to Sarah and Sam for the first time, and now the murder is gonna be exposed for the first time in the second half of this chapter, which is exciting and nerve-wracking. Obviously, we're going to hear from the other characters as well as this story progresses, but this is really the first time that we hear what exactly happened, because Sarah is standing right next to him, as we saw from the last time we read. They're next-door neighbors. So I'm going to read from a little bit, from where we read last time, just to refresh everybody's memory, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so if you're following along with your copy, we're reading on page 45. I pulled the door shut and waved as if to dispel the smoke. Nasty habit, I said. Thanks for the concern, sweetie, but I'm just fine as I am, he answered, in a deep British accent, which I'm not doing. I'm not kidding, kid, I joked, fiddling in my purse for my keys to my apartment. You're too young to sell your soul to the devil. Too late, he retorted. Anyway, you're probably a drug addict, he added coolly. Excuse me? I replied, appalled, and glared at him. What would make you say that? Nothing, but it got your attention. I hate it if people don't look at me in the eye when they speak to me. A large, cheesy smile spread across his face, exposing his yellowing teeth. Name's Sam, he said, stretching out his hand across the hallway to shake mine. Our worlds collided when I took it. The simple gesture bonded us. It was as if I was looking into his soul. I'm Sarah. Pleased to meet you, I said. I noticed his arm was bandaged and looked swollen. What did you do to it? I asked. He looked down at the bruise. I spilled an urn of boiling water on myself at work this morning. Not a big deal, he assured me. You look serious, I said. I'll be fine. Where's the accent from? London, he answered casually. He took another drag of his cigarette. His face tightened in pleasure, the smoke filling his lungs. Sounds like more than just London to me, I said. Yeah, well, mix the East End with Roland County, and this is what you get, he laughed. So, you've lived here for 2 weeks, and you've never invited me over for coffee, huh? He added lightly. Oh, please. Coffee to go with your cigarette? Honey, your teeth are yellow enough, I answered in a stab at my southern accent. You sound just like Mrs. Dawson from down the street, he laughed again. All right, Sam, I'll make it up to you. Why don't you come out with me for coffee now? I asked. I would, but the only coffee place in town closed about 30 minutes ago. Anyway, I work there, so I'd be the one serving you. That's too bad. He took another long drag of his cigarette. I took the moment of silence to search for my keys again, dug them out of the side of my purse, locked the door, and stuck them back inside the big black hole that was my handbag. Have a good night, I said as I headed for the stairs. You too. See you around. Good to meet you. When I got to the door, I noticed the silhouette of a man at the corner of the street, his shadow creeping up against the wall. In a moment, he was gone, and I heard Sam calling my name. You've forgotten your keys, he added as he raced down the stairs after me. Oh, thank you, Sam. You are so kind, I said, taking the keys from him. Here, let me get the door for you. He skipped past me and held it open. Thank you again, I said as I stepped out. I smiled at him warmly. The silhouette I had seen disappeared, and in its place, calm and collected, stood a black figure. I did not understand what was truly happening until I saw I took a look at his stone-like hands. He was holding a gun. I gasped. Sarah, don't move, Sam said calmly, slipping past me. Don't move, the figure yelled. His face was covered by a mask which revealed only his dark, bloody eyes. His breath smelled heavily of alcohol. He stuck the gun in Sam's direction, hands shaking uncontrollably as if he didn't know what to do next. Okay, Sam spat at him. What do you want? Money? I'll give you money. He took out his wallet and handed it over to the shadow. The shadow barked. Don't move, Sam, or I'll shoot you down right here. He stopped shaking and with complete control aimed the gun towards Sam's face. Sam's face widened. Who are you? He asked stupidly, but it sounded as if he knew. Your worst nightmare, the guy with the gun answered. He kept the gun on Sam but turned slightly to the left, glancing at the side of the road as if expecting the arrival of an accomplice, or a policeman. I could see Sam fidgeting, on the verge of breaking into a run. He looked at me, eyes pleading, yet perfectly still. I think at that moment he knew that his life was about to come to an end. Sam, this isn't a time for fun and games, I warned hopelessly. He could tell from my shaky voice that I knew what was coming, too. Exactly. Listen to your friend. No time for fun and games, the man muttered through his clenched teeth. Don't try anything funny or I'll blow your head off. Some threat, Sam chuckled. I looked at him in shock. The masked man peeked over Sam's shoulders and glared at me. Hand over the bag, woman, he snarled. Hand it over and I'll leave you alone. I handed it to him. My phone was still in the pocket of my jeans. But while the man's eyes remained fixed on Sam, I slipped out the phone and, behind my back, dialed 911. It was risky and stupid. Hand over the phone, you idiot! He yelled at me. I gasped and did so. He raised it to his ear. Hello? Yes, 911? I'd like to report a shooting. On Main and 5th, apartment building on the corner, the red one with the mold and the rats. When did it happen? He paused and pulled the trigger. I screamed, and time slowed to a stop. For a moment, nothing happened, until Sam looked first at me, then at his bleeding stomach. He fell to his knees and buckled over onto the ground. The killer looked at me, then at Sam, and finally at the gun before he said into the cell phone, Right now. He clicked the phone shut, handed it back to me almost as if a peace offering, and ran off into the night. I shrieked again and held my breath, inhaling deeply, trying to calm down. Sam's eyes were open, and he moaned. I knelt down before him and seized his hand. Sam, I said. I didn't know if he was still alive. I heard him breathe in a deep, loud, anguished breath. Sarah, he answered lightly. I smiled sweetly, trying to keep my composure, though I was crying hysterically. He was bleeding from his stomach. Sarah, he whispered as the police cars came flying down the street in our direction. I knew he was coming for me, he gasped and cried out in pain. I looked at him in helpless shock. What do you mean you knew? He shrugged. It doesn't, it doesn't, it doesn't matter now. Done, done is done. Death was slowly embracing him, starting at his toes. Sarah, listen, listen to me. I need something from you, he inhaled loudly. Okay, Sam, whatever you say. He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a key. When he handed it to me, the blood stains got transferred to my fingertips. Get rid of it, he told me. If the police ask you for it, don't tell them it exists. Don't use it. Don't keep it, okay? Destroy it. Do you hear me? Destroy it, he insisted. I examined the key before slipping it into my purse. Okay, I said. What else could I say to a man whose life was moments away from ending? Anything. Anything. Hun, I'm sorry. His body jerked violently. Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, God! I cried, burying my face in my hands. Sam, please don't die! Please don't die! He smiled, and the warmth of his smile filled the angry air. I'm not going to die, he swore. We're going out to have coffee and a cigarette. I couldn't help but laugh. He was going to die because of me. Minutes later, we were surrounded by cops, by neighbors, by lights and noises that were foreign and uncomfortable. I looked up. I didn't know how they had all gotten there so quickly, or what had happened. The night had taken over my soul. All I could feel was the pain of the wound that was not mine. My stomach ached. I put my head down on the sidewalk and wept. And see. Oh, that was a really intense chapter to write, and that was a really intense chapter to read out loud, because I've never read it out loud, and I feel like I'm going to start crying. Because, you know, these characters are my life, and they're important to me, and I love them, and Sam. I'm getting emotional over something that I wrote. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 5. If you're following along in your book, that was page 48. So next week's chapter, we'll go back to Ella, back to the beginning, back to the first character. And we're going to learn a little bit more about her life and a little bit more about the struggles that she goes through with her family and her romantic life. Yeah, so this was fun. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, signed copies on my website, otherwise Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You know, comments. I love hearing feedback. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. I need to know this stuff, guys. So, it's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Peace and love. Have a good night.